All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner, and today's sponsor is Flipboard. Flipboard curates the world's stories so you can be smarter in your work, life, and play. Choose from thousands of topics to personalize Flipboard and get the latest stories from the best publishers and experts delivered to you 24/7. So you can get started now at flipboard.com. And now let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today I have a nurse turned entrepreneur, Kayla Brown. She became tired of the rinse and repeat routine and settling with being comfortable. So she was no longer accepting this. She took her future into her own hands to pursue her dreams and inspire others to do the same. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tyler, for having me.
So the first one I got for you, Kayla, is what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
I think the best story from my life that has an underlying valuable message would be, going back from when I was younger. I think it was about 7 when I remember I wanted to be a nurse, and it essentially led me to a career in nursing for over 11 years. And although this was satisfying, I knew that I wanted more for myself and I wanted to do more and just be more. Just earlier this year, I went to a conference and that really opened up my eyes and hit home for me as far as what I was destined to do and how I was going to get there. And I had 2 experiences in my earlier childhood, which if went in a different direction, I essentially wouldn't be here right now. So I feel totally lucky and blessed because of that. And just reflecting on this, I knew that I had a deeper purpose in life. And I mean, don't get me wrong, nursing is great, but it just wasn't enough for the kind of life that I want to live. And in anything that I do, when it comes down to it, helping and serving others is my main goal. And I wanted to do that in a bigger capacity, and I found the vehicle to help me to do that.
And then what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
I think that in order for something to change, you have to make a change. And for a while, I was really nervous and scared about that and taking the risk to do that. And like I said, I was nursing for 11 years, and I realized if I wanted to live a certain life and do certain things, then I would have to change what I'm doing in order to get there. And I think it's Albert Einstein who said this quote: in order for something to change, you have to make a change, and you can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. And this can be applied to anything, whether it's your business, personal growth, or even working out. Obviously, if you're working out and you're using a 5-pound dumbbell, you can't expect to have increased muscle mass by using that 5 pounds each time you train. So you definitely have to change up your routine and do something different in order for you to get bigger and new results.
And what is your best piece of overall business advice, so not necessarily industry specific?
I think that would be not to be complacent in anything. I think now a lot of people are afraid to see what's out there and do something that's bigger than themselves. And for a long time, I was one of these people. But I think that if you're able to think outside of the box and take calculated and thoughtful risks, then you can reap amazing rewards from that.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
I think that would be just to have faith and believe in yourself. For a long time, I've always had a lower confidence and self-esteem, but now with what I'm doing and with the different things that I've experienced in life, I've grew so much and come down such a different path. So I think it would be just to believe in yourself and believe in your dreams and just take action towards that, and anything is possible once you put your mind to it.
And then, in your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
This is an interesting question because for a lot of people, happiness equates to external factors, and for me, it's not. It's much bigger than that. I think most of my happiness is from an internal perspective, and just listening to some other speakers and that sort of thing. I also came down to the fact that key to happiness is a subconscious choice and also a decision that you have to make. And with that being said, you can find yourself to be happy in any circumstance and with whatever cards that you're dealt in life. You just have to take a look at the situation, and it's basically how you view that situation, uh, which will make you happy.
And then, what is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
Being a woman of faith, of course, the best book that I've read is the Bible, but the next book that I definitely want to read and which has inspired me a lot is The Miracle Mornings by Hal Elrod. I actually went to a business conference earlier this year and he spoke about his life. And I won't get into too much details, but his story is so profound. And essentially, The Miracle Morning surrounds the idea of personal development. And this is done every morning for as little as 6 minutes in the day before you start your day. And it essentially just kind of sets the tone for your day and your days ahead. And it incorporates positive affirmations and reading and a lot of self-development as well.
And then, what is your favorite quote and why?
I think my favorite quote would be that everything happens for a reason. And this is something that I say to a lot of people, and people that know me know that I say this a lot. And I think that whether anything positive or negative happens in your life, I think that it does happen for a reason. And with that being said, there's a lot of self-development that happens in those circumstances. And speaking from personal experiences, whether positive or negative, I have learned from them and I have grown from these experiences, and it's made me the person that I am today.
Thank you so much for coming on. The last one I got for you is, where can our audience best find you online?
I am currently in the midst of creating a blog. I have so much information to share about myself, but that's coming soon. As of right now, you can find me on Instagram under my handle, KAYLZ_05. And I'm also on Facebook as my name, Kayla Brown.
Perfect. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.